So bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to...
Shh. Hello and welcome to Everyone Has a Story podcast. Today, joining me for the third time now is Melissa Reese. Hello and welcome back.
Hello.
Okay, Melissa is a 11-year veteran of the fitness trainer. As a fitness trainer, she's a nutrition and wellness coach and the founder of the Harbor Total Wellness and the key instructor to the Garage Squad, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But it's been, what, Melissa, probably about 8, 9 weeks, 10 weeks that we talked about in our last podcast about setting goals and hitting your resolutions, right? So what do you think, off the top of your head, what do you think the chances are that, let's say, half of them have even kept going at this juncture of the year 2021?
Ah, man. I mean, obviously you've been in the fitness industry as well. It's approaching March. So, I mean, I'd say just from what I've seen in the past, 50% yes, and maybe 50% no.
All right.
Just from working in gyms and remembering the faces and seeing it get not as packed. Obviously, COVID is a different story, but in general, usually it's been that 2-month mark almost. So I'd say 50-50.
And what I love, Melissa, is that you're very optimistic. We probably know it's probably not quite 50, but you know what? If we got 50%, we're going to take it, right?
I'm gonna.
All right. So my New Year's resolution on my podcast is I'm going to bring up a virtue every week. And today's virtue is really all about this topic. And my virtue is commitment. And the definition of commitment is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity. All right, we're talking New Year's resolutions, being a better person, being a healthier person, a more fit person, maybe some losing weight, maybe some gaining weight, whatever the case is. Give me your idea of really what you define commitment as.
I think a lot of the times people want commitment to be something that's very easy. And commitment is right up there with discipline with me. If you don't have discipline, you're not going to be committed. So they kind of both work together. You're motivated. Yeah, that's great. But we all know what happens with motivation. But if you are disciplined enough to be committed to whatever your goal is, that's kind of how you see the ones that are separating themselves of achieving what they want and the ones that aren't achieving what they want. And I think it boils down to like how deep is the purpose or the goal that they want to do. If it's something on the surface level, then it's easier to be less committed. But if it's something that really gets them deep, I think having the discipline with the commitment is kind of how you see that out. You can have commitment, but you kind of need the discipline with it when times get, a little bit hard.
And like you said, I've been in the health club industry and fitness industry for a long time. And it's people like you that really get the people, their clients, motivated, committed with the right discipline to help them reach their goals. And so that is why you are today's guest, because I've heard a lot of trainers talk all their concepts, all their ideas and how they do things. But you're the only one that I've met so far that really talks in a way that really resonates with everybody, as opposed to just teaching this is who I am, this is what you need to do, and go do it kind of thing. You're right there with them, committed and disciplined as they are. So I appreciate that about you, and I commend you for that. So getting into this podcast, tell me, quite honestly, what are you seeing with your clients?
I think, a lot of us have accountability groups, and I do that on purpose. I don't think anybody set off to do a goal or an intent for the year is ever, they can achieve it on their own, but groups always help. I'm a motivated human being, and I still have people that I'm accountability group with for the goals that I have. So a lot of us have accountability groups. We've been checking in. Obviously, yes, I train people out of my garage. And so I'm pretty good about, I know who they all are. And if I haven't seen them in a while, I'm pretty good at saying, where have you been? You know, what are you doing? How are things going? Because everybody loves accountability and everybody loves to be a part of something. And everybody has bad days, everybody has good days, but on those bad days, when you have a group of people that are like-minded, whether their goal is completely different, but you're all striving for one thing, it's a lot easier to get on that thread and say, oh, I'm having a bad day, what can I do? And you have 10 other people like, you got it, you know, or hey, try this, or oh, that recipe might be boring now for you, hey, I have a new one. So I think creating community is really how people stay on track. And like how they're motivated to keep going because they do see results in other people. And when you see it in other people that you're in a group with, it kind of keeps things going, I think, for you.
And so what have you and your group seen for 2021 so far this year? We're almost 8 weeks into it.
I can't name how many people have done either like a program, or even just like a simple eating breakfast in the morning. I have so many different areas of people who are just drinking water because they don't drink water, or people who are just eating breakfast because they've never had breakfast. And then I have people who are on like meal plans. But so far, I mean, we've all had our bad days, let's be honest. Like not everybody's been like, oh, I've been solid for 2.5 months. But I've had any ranges from like 9 to 30 pounds that have changed people. And that's cool. Yes, that's what you look like. And all of us are obviously vain in our own way. But the best part about some of these text messages that I'm getting is I am not taking my sleep medicine anymore. I haven't taken that. I have not taken that in 20 years. Could you imagine taking something to sleep for 20 years? Yes, I have somebody that's been doing that. I got off Diet Coke. I'm sleeping better than I ever slept in my life. I had no idea nutrition would play this part. So yes, it's awesome to see people physically get fit, but for me, that's like health. Like that's you waking up in the morning and you feeling good. That's you sleeping at night. That's you not needing an aid to help you sleep. And so it's been really cool to see their light bulbs go off of, wow, if I don't have to be perfect forever, but if I adopt these new little habits, I'm going to get more out of my lifestyle than I ever did before with how I used to eat, or if I drank wine every night or whatever it was. So for the most part, obviously, yes, some days people have better days than others, but for the most part, we've stayed pretty tight within our different groups for the full 2 months. I have like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I check in if they're part of something like that. So they at least know my annoying text messages coming through.
I love it. So as a reminder, why don't you let everybody know, the audience know, really what's your best advice to set intentions or goals that are really meaningful?
I think this stemmed back from when I used to do direct sales, and it was, something, if your why isn't big enough, it's going to be very easy to not do it. And, for me to do direct sales like I used to do, I needed a why that was going to get me up out of bed in the morning, that was going to, make me do the things that I didn't want to do when you're growing a direct sale, marketing business. So I kind of took that mindset in with clients with nutrition and wellness or whatever their goals are. If it's not gutting you in the stomach, then it's not big enough. Like if you're like, oh, I want to look good in a bikini in 10 days for a vacation, then you're only going to do it for 10 days. That's it. And then you're only going to look good on your vacation. And then you go back to your old mindset or your old way of eating. And then it's just a vicious cycle. So, which is, obviously everybody wants to look great in a bikini, but I'm like, well, why do you want to look good in a bikini? What's stemming? Why aren't you happy with how you are right now? Well, I have XYZ. Okay, we'll go into that a little bit more. Well, 2 years, if you can kind of peel back the layers of what someone's purpose is of why they either want to gain weight, lose weight, be healthy, just, it doesn't always have to be about weight, but overall wellness. If it's not something that doesn't have to make them cry, but if it's not something that gets them fed up, it's very easy to not stay committed. So I really try to help people with their goals or their, intents for the year of what is it and why do you really want to do it? Because some mornings when it's, 21 degrees outside and you want to come set foot in my garage, but your bed's warm, is that going to get you up out of bed? Like a deep rooted feeling, or you want to look good in a bikini. You're like, I might eat less today. Who knows? So a lot of those things I really try to help people with that intent so that they can kind of create a meaningful reason behind they want to do it. And then they're more likely to be able to sustain it. And continue it, because it's not always about just a 10-day something. Let's change the mindset and having it be more of a lifestyle, yes, with fun here and there. But if you're just doing it for something that small, it's going to be really hard to stick to. And so that's where I try to balance that so people can kind of dig a little deeper of why they want to do what they want to do.
Yeah, I love it. Now, in 2020, it was like a year of no years with this pandemic. And the most popular overused word was pivot. Well, this time of year, it always seems like somewhere between end of December and probably the middle of March, the P word that we're going to talk about right now is procrastinate. We all have these goals and we say, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and goes. I met a guy one time, Melissa, that he was desperate. He wanted to lose weight. And I said, no problem. That's what, health clubs can do. Fitness centers, we're going to help you lose weight. I go, how much you looking to lose? He said, 66 pounds. I go, wow, you know it right down to the T. He goes, yep, I do. I said, so when do you want to have this done by? He said, Saturday. And today was Thursday. Okay. So if there was ever a poster child for procrastination, that was the guy. He was going to his 30-year high school reunion. And when he was in high school, he was a big man on campus. Now he's just a big man. And he wanted to look good for his high school reunion. And so I know that's kind of an exaggeration of really what really is out there in real life. But right now, it's the end of February. Is it too late to get started on these goals and resolutions in your mind?
I don't think it's ever too late. I think January's kind of like, obviously obviously after December, the holidays, January has become this like glorious month of like, I can only do it in January and then I'll wait until next January. But that's not the case. You can start something. I mean, I've worked with people for 11 years and some of their start dates are August. They're like, I'm in it, let's do it. And it's August. So no, there's never a deadline. It's more of when you feel ready to start. Sometimes maybe January is not your month. And maybe February you're like, I don't know. But maybe March, all of a sudden you're like, I really want to make a change, then do it. And it doesn't have to be something drastic. If that stresses you out, take a look at what you're currently doing. And, if you need help with things like that, like, if people were to use a coach or things like that, then they can go to their coach at the gym or a nutrition coach if they have one or whatever it is and say, this is what I'm currently doing. Clearly, it's not getting me to where I want to go. How can I change this very easily so that I don't get overwhelmed? And maybe, if somebody came to me like that, I'd be like, do you eat breakfast? No. Okay. For the week, I want you to have breakfast. Bye. See you later. I'll talk to you in a week. Start, do something very small so that each week they can kind of build up upon each other or up upon, a new goal.
Yep.
So it's not like, weigh your food, portion your food. I want you to exercise. I want you to drink your water. They're going to be like, I'm already overwhelmed and I'm done. So keeping it very simple for people who are wanting to start but really don't know where to start and they are, intimidated by the process of it, it's just giving them small little goals. Because if you drink water and cut out a pop a day, if you have 2 pops and add in a breakfast, things will change for you in 1 month. 100%. You might not lose 60 pounds in a month, but things will change and your body will look different. And then that's obviously exciting for people to see and they want to keep going. So no, I think people can start. People can start whenever. January is just a glorified month, but I don't think it's the month of you must do it and then wait until 2020.
Right. I wonder how that ever came about where it just seemed like most Americans were only going to make our resolutions, set goals for the month of January. And then the rest of the year, we're going to live the way we want to. And then we'll start all over again in January. But so well said, your advice about, your January 1 could really be March 1st. It could be April 1st. It could be, the middle of the summer. But when it's right, let's get started. Okay. So we've now got them off the couch where they're thinking seriously about this resolution or this goal. So what is your advice to really develop this game plan, and creating those necessary steps to now take the next step forward?
Well, I kind of touched on it, just a couple minutes or a minute ago, probably, with those just baby step goals. Each person is different. So I have people that are very type A, OCD, give me a plan, I will follow it, like A, B, C, D, I'm good. And I'm like, okay, great. But there's other people that are like, that stresses me out. I won't follow a plan. I don't want to weigh and measure my food, but that just seems foreign. So you really need to kind of get to know the person that you're working with and see how are you going to help them be successful. But you need to empower them to tell you what they can do. So instead of me saying, I want you to do X, Y, Z for this week, I say, what do you think you can do this week? What's 2 things that you can do differently that you're not doing right now? You tell me, and I'll hold you accountable to that. So they'll say, whatever it is, or I'll say, you tell me 2 goals that you're going to do for the week. And we'll just keep it simple so that they know they've said it to me. I didn't tell them what to do, which weirdly enough works, because it's very easy to blame me if it doesn't work, if I tell them, I want you to do this. But if somebody has to put the blame on themselves, if they haven't done it, then it holds you more accountable. If I told you I'm going to read a book and in a week, and then you text me like, oh, how's the book going? I'd be like, oh no, I failed. I didn't do it, But if you said, Melissa, read a book in a week, and that for some reason my life was crazy and I didn't do it, I'd be like, well, that was a really lofty goal. You don't know my life. You don't know that if I had enough time to read a book in a week. So I've learned to really let people tell me what they want their goal to be, and then I can hold them accountable that way, but keeping it very simple so that when I talk to them on a Monday, they can be like, I drank water like 3 times more than I ever did the week prior. Win. That's awesome. Okay, what are you going to do this week now? So we kind of just keep it going week by week for people who need step-by-step baby steps to get those little wins. And then for those that are very, give me a plan, I'll follow it, I'll nail it, just kind of follow up with me. Then during my follow-ups, it's like, how are things going? Do we need to fix things? Do we need to change things? So it's just more of working with each individual, knowing how their brain operates and getting them small little wins so that they stay consistent to it. Because I know myself, if you work really hard for a week and your only goal is to lose weight on a scale, sometimes the scale is not going to tell you that. So you need to have other avenues of, I want you to track your sleep. I want you to track your workouts. I want you to track this, so that if you lose 3 pounds instead of the 4 you wanted and you're bummed, let's go back and see all the other things that you've gained so far, and they're like, oh yeah, you're right. I did do this. I did do that. So it just kind of keeps them motivated to keep wanting to kind of be disciplined and consistent. So baby steps, I think, always win the race, in my opinion.
Yeah. You said something really important at the start of that answer there about you have to own your goal. What does that really look like and feel like when you're talking to a client?
When you own it, it's obviously them speaking it. If I have people say, well, what's your goal? Or what is it that you want to do? And they tell you out loud. When I say I have a goal and I say it out loud, it holds me way more accountable than if I just kept it to myself. But they need to own all the actions that they're doing with it. Like, is the goal attainable? I've, like you said, if you ran and somebody came to you and they said they want to lose 66 pounds in 2 days, you'd have to be like, whoa, what else can we do in the 2 days? Your goal, yes, that can happen, but you need to give yourself time to lose 66 pounds. So you kind of have to, hold their hand a bit to say, how achievable is it? Is it something that, if I wanted to be a 5'8" basketball player and I'm 5'4", probably not going to grow that many inches, but what can I do? Can I shoot 10 3-pointers and nail them and practice that in a month? Yeah. So it's kind of helping people shift their goals to align of what they're capable of, because sometimes people have goals. Like I said, if I wanted to be 5'8", that's never going to happen. So you need to kind of help people figure out, you can still get to your end result of whatever it is you want to achieve, but you might have to change your goals a little bit and own that to do it, so that they take ownership of saying, yes, I want to do this. This is what I'm going to do to get here. This is kind of my time frame to do it, so that it's all kind of mapped out. And within, if you have a long goal that takes 6 months, then it's me finding out little goals that we can do within the 6 months so that they can get wins and not just wait till the end. Because if you wait till the end, there's a lot of journey that goes on in there. And if you're not seeing any wins or achievements because you have not set any other goals other than your deadline, you're going to get really frustrated. So it's just trying to help people find little ones along their way to their end goal. And that's kind of what I try to help people do when they talk to me about it.
You know, I know that you've always been in sports, been an athlete, but you know, one of the other things that's a strong trait of yours is that you're a very good cheerleader to your clients. And so what advice can you give to the listeners really on how to get them inspired to move forward on this day right now, even though they haven't started yet?
There's no, as cheesy as it might sound, there's no guarantee for tomorrow. What if tomorrow comes and for whatever reason tomorrow comes and nothing happens again? You got to just do it, because it's taking, I always tell people, like, where you're at right now, do you want to be there tomorrow or in 5 years from now? And usually they're like, no. I'm like, so then what's holding you back? You got to just go for it. There's no weird goal. There's no dumb goal. There's no stupid goal. Your own goal and your own purpose is awesome. And you have to just go for it and do it. And I can relate in the sense of having to start over in business before and having to start over. I know it sounds so dumb, but like being competitive CrossFitter and this being my third pregnancy, I've been really fit, and then I've gotten pregnant and my workouts are not nearly what they've been. And I got to start all the way damn over again, and that's super, for me, discouraging, because you've worked so hard to get here and now you're here and you got to get back up here. But I'm always like, nope, do it. Just put one foot in front of the other and just tomorrow, just start. And like I said, whether it's, if I had the baby yesterday, I'd say, okay, when I get cleared to work out, I'm going to the gym the very first day that I get to work out, and I'm going to tell my coach about it. I'm going to call my friends and I'm going to make them hold me accountable so that I am there. I don't care how dumb I look. I don't care how out of shape I am. I'm going to go, because then when you leave, you're like, oh, I did it. Okay, day one, check. So it's just getting your day one going. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. Like if it was me, I'd be like, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm just going to sit on the bike so that I can be social and see my friends and maybe break a sweat. That might be the most lame CrossFit workout for me on the face of the earth, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be happy that I did it once I'm there, because I'll think of how I'll feel once I leave. So if, someone's like, I want to go to the gym, go to the gym. It doesn't matter what you look like. Trust me, no one's caring. If it's you stepping on a treadmill and walking, that is a win. Do something. If it's maybe listening to like an inspirational podcast to just get your mindset in the right frame, that's doing something different than you did the day before. So it doesn't have to be this grandiose big thing. It can be something as small as like, you went walking. Check. Win. What are you going to do tomorrow? Maybe you'll walk again. Because when you start doing little things that make you feel good, it becomes a habit. It becomes a routine. And then you start to kind of create this new norm for yourself. But I personally know what it's like to start from scratch and to have no clue what you're doing, and then try to revamp it again. Oh, am I doing this right? Are people going to judge me? I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's easier said than done. Like, who cares? Like, if it makes you happy and it makes you feel good when you're done, you gotta just do it, because you're not going to regret ever looking back and saying, oh, I'm really bummed out. I saw my friends today at the gym and I biked. I'll be like, yay, I went to the gym and I biked. I got out of the house, or, oh, I drank water. Go me. Or, oh, I went on a walk with a friend that I said I was going to do and I finally did it. Or I went grocery shopping and I didn't buy the Doritos. I bought, kale chips instead, or whatever it is. Like, just little things you can do that makes your day different, I think will help kind of catapult that. It doesn't always have to be huge. It can be something really, really small.
Okay. Now, I know one thing that always inspires me in a lot of different frameworks of the day and life is music. Is there any certain music that that really you would recommend to the listeners to really help them get themselves inspired?
Well, I don't know if my choice of music would be for everybody, but I love me some salsa music. Anything Latin or salsa, you feel like you're in a different country. You just feel like, oh, this is great. So that's my favorite music. But on, Pandora, there's a running radio I use that in the garage squad a lot. The running radio has got like a really good vamp of different cadences because obviously it's for running. So some songs are a little bit slower, some songs are really fast, but it's like a huge genre of different type of music. But it's finding, and it could be country for someone, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever music that you like, put that in your alarm, do something to get going. I mean, obviously, if I'm at the gym, I'm not going to make the whole gym listen to salsa music, but if I work out by myself in my garage, that thing's blasting. And my husband's like, oh my God, this music, how do you listen to it? But he listens to something completely different when he works out. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, how are you listening to this? So you have to just kind of do what makes you feel good and listen to that. But there's a lot, like Pandora, obviously there's commercials, but it's not that expensive if you pay $5-6 a month and you have no commercials. But they have a lot of really good radio stations and you can pretty much type in anything. And it depends on what mood you're in. Sometimes 80s rock is awesome, So it's just finding something that gets you happy or brings back happy memories. Because music does that. When you hear certain music, it stimulates certain areas where you're like, oh, I remember where I was when I heard that song, or oh, this music makes me want to dance. That's kind of, if I'm in a funky mood, I probably am going to listen to salsa. If I'm in like a kick-ass mood, I'm probably going to listen to like some 80s rap. It just kind of depends on what mood you're in. But Pandora's great, and obviously Apple Music's great, but Pandora's got I think just a little better stations than the Apple one does.
Yeah, I don't know if this is way before your time, but the one song that always inspires me, even if I'm not working out and I just hear it and it makes me want to work out, is the theme to Rocky.
Oh yeah.
If that doesn't get your juices just saying, okay, I'm ready to go work out, I'm going to run up those stairs and I'm going to just, kick some butt.
You got to find your little theme song.
Yeah.
You got to go with it.
I love it. So, Melissa, how can, you're inspiring, you're very knowledgeable, you're very good at what you do. How can people reach out to you to get connected, number one, and to start getting some of your expertise?
Well, I have my website, so it's just www.harbortotalwellness.com. That's probably the easiest way because on my website, my email's there, my phone number's there, my social media icons are all there, so you can kind of click on those. And I've just within the last month, I've gotten a new certification. So I'm pregnancy and postpartum athleticism certificate. So I'm a coach in that. So I've been helping moms who are pregnant with their workouts that are safe for each week of pregnancy. And I'm also helping moms in the postpartum phase with certain core exercises, pelvic exercises, because not everybody knows what to do after or what to do during pregnancy. And I've asked many questions to many people and no one could really answer my questions. So I thought I am going to learn this myself and help people, especially with nutrition with that too, if people have questions on that. But that's something new that I have just sort of done in the last month. I wanted to do that before my baby gets here, just to be, I'm doing it with them in a sense because I'm pregnant. But yeah, my email's on my website, but then they can go in there and look around, and then if they want to see my free workouts on social media, they can see that as well, since I post those pretty much every day on my Instagram account.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for being my repeat guest, because what you do and what people need, they go hand in hand. So I hope they reach out to you. Thank you.
Yes, you bet. Thank you. This is fun.
The Everyone Has a Story podcast is very honored and humbled to acknowledge the following sponsors. Thank you all for your loyalty and faith in the content. I want to really thank Dave and Dara Feldman at Virtues Matter, the most positive and grateful husband and wife team that helps individuals bring out the best in themselves and others with workshops, retreats, consulting, and the Virtues Card app. Maury Zelkovich at the Maury Method, the world's only brainwave entrainment engineer helping people with stress, anxiety, and so much more. Priya Kumar at Results Coaching, the executive transformation coach providing business financial intelligence that really helps flip that switch on their profit. Jennifer and Gene Sievers at the Sievers Real Estate Team, the husband and wife team serving Pierce and Kitsap County residents with their home buying and selling needs. Eric and his superhero team at Ivy Cat Web Designs, no doubt the real superheroes of web development and design. Stephen Buller at Buller Accounting, giving business owners depth and insight to their numbers in his own unique way. Rebecca Howell at Custom Bookkeeping and Accounting, delivering trustworthy bookkeeping services since 2003. And Tim and Sadie Marlowe at BD Local Podcast Studio for the use of their studio and their expertise with the necessary production and editing to make this podcast happen.